This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. For Doug Gottlieb, Steve Lapis, I'm Andrew Catalan. Let's go out to Tom McCarthy and Ala Abdelnaby for Xavier and Creighton.
From CenturyLink Center here in Omaha, Nebraska, where Xavier has jumped out to a 12-0 lead over Creighton with 4 made threes. They're 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. Along with Ala Abdelnaby, I'm Tom McCarthy. It's great to have you with us today on what has turned out to be a fantastic day of basketball on CBS Sports Network. We welcome those of you who are just watching Louisville and SMU. Creighton with the ball. McDermott's taken 1 shot so far. This is the largest deficit in 9 games, in its last 9 games for the Creighton Bluejays. And that foul will go against Isaiah Fillmore. See the 5 on the floor. These are the starters for Xavier. They haven't made any substitutions. And really the same for Creighton.
Why would you sub? Everything's going your way right now.
Absolutely.
If you're Musketeers.
Saw Dingman inbounding the ball. He's taken the responsibilities from Grant Gibbs, and he stepped out of bounds as he drove to the hoop.
Good idea by Dingman to be aggressive. Grant Gibbs, not much of a scorer, so whatever Dingman can bring would be considered gravy, but it's his leadership that Grant Gibbs brought. Whether or not Dingman or other subs can fill that void still remains to be seen.
Well, there you see the 5 on the floor for the Bluejays.
Double team on Stainbrook.
That's expected the way he plays inside. Martin, hot from beyond the arc, misses the 3. Loose ball, knocked out of bounds by Creighton. So a fresh 35, and Xavier gets it back.
Lack of communication there between Doug McDermott and Austin Chapman. Got to let each other know, I've got the basketball. In particular, if you're Chapman, let him get the ball, Chapman, and you're McDermott, run out and fill a lane.
Inbounds goes to Kristen. Covered by Madigan. That's going to be an offensive foul called against Samaje Kristen.
Good D, and give credit to Austin Chapman for also being there, making himself available, ready to pounce on the double team. Kristen sees that, goes the other way. The defense does a good job of moving its feet. We're going the other way, partner.
Well, we mentioned earlier that this is the largest deficit in the last 9 games for Creighton. It's the first time in 5 home games that they've trailed here at home, and McDermott cans his first bucket of the day.
So much for a bad shoulder. How about the quick release? Stainbrook trying to close out on him, not nearly in time. McDermott with the quick one.
And a pushing foul called on Raggi. That will be his first foul.
Well, both of them, Raggi and McDermott, you saw come in on to help what they're trying to do, because Stainbrook is so effective down low. Push him a foot or 2 off the lane. That becomes a lot more difficult of a shot because it's further away from where he initially wanted to post up. Look for more of that. You don't want Stainbrook to be camping out in the lane like he is right there.
Stainbrook, the transfer from Western Michigan, has totally redesigned his body since transferring. And now the Bluejays force the turnover. Xavier doesn't turn it over that often.
You see him discussing it amongst each other right now. A slight sign of frustration, not knowing what to do against that double team. But good idea by Coach McDermott to be aggressive. That time, Chapman, I should say, Martin, just unable to secure the pass out of the post.
Here's Madigan off to the near side. McDermott's taken a couple shots so far. He just made the first bucket for Creighton. Trying to slip inside. He's got a very good interior game, and a traveling violation called against the Bluejays.
Looking a little out of sync right now, the home team.
You know, and I guess that's part of, you know, this matchup. Each team has played 3 Big East matchups. You know, the Marquette one was huge, obviously, for Creighton.
Preseason favorite to win it all.
Well, and this is a big deal, though. These guys, these 2 schools always match up well.
And now they're in a new setting, a new environment, under a new banner, if you will, the Big East banner, trying to put their best foot forward so early on in the season.
Davis for 3. It's good.
Wow.
Dean Davis, he's known more for his defense and his passing than his shooting.
They certainly did not come in gun shy today, shooting and firing on all cylinders. McDermott with the little post up.
That his jumper from 17, from 19 is good.
The little face up, the nice little jab step, and then the quick release, unable to close out on him. Soft touch.
And another turnover forced by the Bluejays. So they're creeping back in. They're still down by 9 with 15:27 to play. Justin Martin and McDermott both being able to make their threes. in the early part of this ball game. Martin's been red hot from beyond the arc. He gave Xavier a 12-0 lead. McDermott, though, is starting to claw the Jays back. Well, it's a hot ticket here at Omaha, Nebraska. Anytime the Creighton Bluejays are home. In fact, the fans are vast in their age from top to bottom. Hello, Ala Abdelnaby. I'm Tom McCarthy. Great atmosphere. Pretty good start, surprising all the threes that have been shot.
A little uncharacteristic for a Xavier Musketeer team. Known as a blue-collar team, half-court set, knocking down threes. 4 of them this early in the game. Good start for them, but again, a little out of character.
And we'll see if the Blue Jays can continue to creep closer. They shoot over 40% from beyond the arc. Xavier under 40% from beyond the arc. You would think that one will start to shoot a little bit more, and one might pull it back a little bit more.
I think they're going to start falling into their strengths, what they do well. And I think you mentioned it. Creighton cold right now, but that's not going to last for long, in particular on this home court where they thrive on the enthusiasm and they score in bunches. They'll get back in.
Chris Mack, the head coach of the Xavier Musketeers in his 5th year. He's done a very nice job taking over for Sean Miller, who he was an assistant for. Sean, of course, now with the #1 team in the country out in Arizona. So Creighton down 9 with the ball. First of 2 matchups between these two teams during the regular season before the Big East tournament heads to Madison Square Garden.
Took Stainbrook off him, partner, and put Fillmore on him to be able to close out. Fillmore a little quick of foot.
Didn't matter there with McDermott on the cut to the basket. We said he shoots it from beyond the arc, but Raggi found him with a beautiful slip to the basket.
And a big mistake by Fillmore is to try to trail him. You've got to beat him to spots, as we see the easy 2 by Stainbrook inside.
Now Brooks up the floor into the game for the first time. He's the freshman from New Jersey. Creighton's talked about recruiting more and more from the East Coast now that they're a Big East team. McDermott, a little step-back jumper, no good.
That's in his rhythm, though. That's part of his game. He makes those shots. So if you're thinking that's a low percentage shot, it might be for most, but not for Doug McDermott.
That's the story so far today, folks. What you see in the bottom of your screen. Xavier 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. D. Davis has made a couple. Justin Martin's made 3. Stainbrook down low, strong move to the basket, even with a little extra help from Creighton's defense.
And Raggi, you mentioned the help from Creighton's defense. Raggi coming over from the weak side with good hands up, but Stainbrook just too talented.
Here's Brooks inside. He missed Raggi open in the corner.
Like to have a lot of ball pick and roll action with McDermott involved. Great pick and popper. Also has the ability to dive to the bucket and finish.
Monaga was a little deep for that 3. Here's Kristen, his big hop step to the basket. Whoa!
That's a trick shot. That's a horse shot right there, partner. We mentioned it earlier when we talked to the coaches, in particular Coach McDermott and shoot around. We have to get back, is what he said. It's the first thing that really worried him, and you can see why. Xavier, excellent, effective in the full court.
Samaje Kristen averaging just under 16 a game. Nice drive by the freshman, Devin Brooks, or excuse me, the junior. It's his first year here at Creighton. Transfer from Iowa Western Community College.
Had a great game earlier in the year, 23 points against Arizona State. So he is more than capable, just looking, as you mentioned, for the freshman to be consistent.
Well, the turnover forced by the Blue Jays. 21-10 the score. Xavier on top by 11.
And number 15, Miles Davis. And for the Blue Jays is number 31, Will Artino for Ethan Raggi.
Well, the violation because D. Davis went out of bounds.
And you can't be the first one to come back in.
Yep.
Sort of like football.
Kind of like football. It's not a rule that you often see happen. Brooks with the spin move.
Good pass.
Monaga for 3. Go!
Just like they drew it up. The ability to break down the defense, the dribble drive, and the dish to the corner.
And a double dribble called against Xavier. So some turnovers being forced now by Creighton's defense. Still, though, an 8-point lead.
And the energy of the crowd is starting to build itself up. Again, we talked about a little earlier how they feed off of that. What a great home court advantage. It's one of the most beautiful buildings I've ever seen, let alone played in. And for them to be rocking as well behind their hometown team, pretty impressive.
Devin Brooks has that ball tipped away by Kristen. That was an ill-advised pass picked up by Jalen Reynolds. Now Kristen covered by McDermott. 2 All-American candidates. And a foul called against Monaga.
Talked about his prowess, his accolades, the only returning first-team All-American from last year's team, Doug McDermott. Nowadays, when you're that good, most guys head off to the next level. Not this young man. Decided to hang out for one more year with his dad and his teammates, and more importantly, prepare himself even more for the NBA.
Tough decision.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, back when I played, no one considered that. we were hoping that we'd get considered after 4 years, but the game and the times, they have changed.
Reynolds quick shot off the inbounds, the rebound by Brooks. McDermott covered by Fillmore.
Big on big pick and roll here.
Artino trying to post up as Reynolds helps out, and now has McDermott.
Ooh, we had Artino for a second.
And McDermott turnaround jumper from 15.
This is my first time seeing him live at home. He is impressive because of his efficiency of movement. Doesn't waste a lot of energy or movement, but yet still has the ability to kill you from outside. That was a pro move right there.
Reynolds, what a save as it goes out of bounds toward our vantage point. They wanted the alley-oop.
Yep.
They couldn't get the alley-oop because Jalen Reynolds was falling down on the floor. The Blue Jays riding their two-time All-American candidate, Doug McDermott. He's starting to feel it just as the crowd is.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Sonic Original and Spicy Jumbo Popcorn Chicken. The snack size is only $1.99.
Some things have changed, some things haven't. That's the old Market District here in Omaha. The brick-paved cobblestone streets from the turn of the 20th century. Well, the Big East standings, Villanova is off to such a good start. They're 15-1. Their only losses to Syracuse, 4-0 in the conference as they won yesterday. Creighton and Xavier both have won 8 straight, both with 13 wins. I think the Big East, with the addition of Creighton, Xavier, and Butler, has lost a lot of tough games so far this season. It really is still an outstanding conference.
I think it's gotten better in some respects because you've got different styles, and obviously you lost a lot of powerhouse teams, but it's different styles of play have been incorporated into this new Big East. You got a Western team like Creighton as well. You see Coach McDermott on the sideline. But the one underlying theme about those 3 teams at the top of the Big East is all 3 of them are excellent rebounding teams. That, again, is one of the mainstays of the Big East. Rebounding and physicality. Looks like that's not going to change.
Boy, that's a great point. The near steal by Brooks. Here's Kristen covered by McDermott. Forced him to fall back a little bit on the shot.
Oh, I didn't see that. Artino called with the foul.
On number 20,
Take that back. Justin Martin with the call. On the foul. Looked like Artino on that play, but Martin was the one selected.
See, Chris Mack just said, who's the foul against?
Is that disdain right there? Still, it's too early for disdain. Maybe just being a little perplexed.
You see the field goal so far. Both teams are shooting well. Artino, who had started a bunch of games early on, he's much better suited to come off the bench, according to Greg McDermott, as the foul is called on Martin.
Martin trying to be physical and bump cutters. That's his second foul. But McDermott doing a good job of cutting hard, making it obvious. Referees had no choice really but to call that.
I asked Doug McDermott today about all the double teams that he's faced. I said, I would assume at this point you're used to it. He goes, I've seen everything.
Yeah.
He said, although the last couple of games I haven't been double teamed, he said he expected to be double teamed today.
Well, this is a sound defensive team, and what he's going to love is on the next level. They let you play one-on-one, partner, so he's going to thrive. I'm of the opinion that he's going to be an excellent, effective NBA player.
21-15 the score. McDermott with the ball. Plenty of time in the shot clock. Turnaround jumper no good. Artino battling for the loose ball, and it was touched last by Xavier. James Farr touched it last.
Number 40, Ben Stainbrook, returning to
See the little battle underneath.
Also checking in is number 35, Eric Stengel. And number 3, Brandon Randolph.
21-15 the score. Fresh 35 for the Creighton Bluejays. We said they were down 12-0. They're still down 6, but they look more comfortable right now.
Well, they've recovered. I think it was just a tough start for them, unable to knock down some shots and unable to follow the game plan and get back on defense and close out the jump shooters. They seem to have righted that ship right now, and no surprise, they're back in this.
Devin Brooks from 17. It's good. It's a 9-0 run now for the Bluejays.
Let's see what it does to their defense, because they love to play off of the enthusiasm. Will this defensive exchange lead to a steal, perhaps another easy bucket for Creighton? Scoring in bunches is what they want to do.
Eric Stenger in the game for the first time. The transfer from Northern Kentucky. Battled some illnesses earlier this year. He's along the baseline, forcing his way to the basket, and he's fouled going up, so he'll get a couple of free throws.
You wonder who that's on. Is that on Artino or McDermott? McDermott.
His first.
That's a big-time foul because, again, their best player, you go right at him, not only to get him in foul trouble, but also playing defense against a guy who likes to score is fatiguing. So you hope it takes a little bit out of his legs on the other end of the floor as we take a look at the foul.
Stenger misses the first. Tonight at 7 Eastern, host Brett Stover and the CBS Sports Network studio crew head down the road to the Final Four and take you with them. It's Inside College Basketball, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Second shot by Stenger is good, so he made one, missed one. Xavier's improved their free throw shooting recently. Last 8 games, 75%. First 8 games, how about this? 58%.
That's not like them.
Here's Brooks, beautiful crossover, doesn't get the roll though.
Tried the little giant killer teardrop, unable to convert, but how about the little penetration there?
Randolph for 3, no good. Stenger with the rebound, the putback too strong, and Artino pulls it down.
Things getting physical under there.
Raggi has not taken a 3-pointer yet. Here's Managa, it's good!
He's a guy who really picked up his game after their trip out to the Wooden Classic in California. Since then, just been taking his game to a whole nother level, and you can see right there the confidence that he stood up and pulled that trigger.
Kristen has it go tight off the side of the rim, so now Creighton can tie it or take the lead. Raggi way downtown. Good!
That was from the parking lot. That was not close, and he didn't hesitate at all. 15-1 run for the Creighton Bluejays. Listen to this crowd.
This run has lasted about 5 minutes. Stainbrook faces up, shoulders Artino, and it's a blocking foul.
Ooh. Thought he may have used the right shoulder a little bit there, but he's certainly aware of one thing, Stainbrook, is when you get the ball, you're going to be double-teamed. You have to make a decisive, quick move. Otherwise, you don't have a shot at looking at the basket. See the double team come from behind there. I wonder what that right arm was doing. Let's check out the right arm again here. All right, looks like he put his shoulder down, but again, referees saw a lot of physicality there, gave it the foul to the defense.
Xavier's without a field goal for the last 5 minutes. Stainbrook double teams. Randolph open for
Kristen's
a 3.
Got to be ready to shoot that.
Absolutely.
He got the ball back from Stainbrook. He's got to shoot that.
There you go.
Got to be ready to shoot. Kids out there, when you do get the ball back from your teammates, reward that pass by being ready to shoot. Do not just sit here and be lazy and act like you didn't expect the ball to come.
How impressive has Devin Brooks been in this first half?
Well, he got the memo that the lane is wide open and one should drive, and he's taking it to heart. He's got Stainbrook the big on him. Disadvantage right there for the big guy. Uses his quicks, gets to the bucket with a strong finish. Devin Brooks on fire.
Well, you see Devin Brooks as McDermott checks back in. Brooks going in with the left hand. It was a couple of years ago that he fell during a junior college game, hurt his right wrist. Couldn't really use his right wrist. So he practiced and shot with his left, and he said that made him a better all-around player. He looked rather smooth with that left hand there.
8th grade summer, that same thing happened to me. And you know what? It's a silver lining kind of situation, because what happens is out of a bad situation comes a good thing. Now, all of a sudden, your left hand, much more adept than before. Use that to your advantage. He did look smooth on that last drive.
Creighton with a 1-point lead. 12 minutes gone by here in the first half. D. Davis from the baseline. A little short. Fillmore. Yeah, he got away with it, but here comes Brooks again.
Look at the attention Doug McDermott gets when he gets the ball. Wow, Raggi again. He's not shy, is he? 120 shots he took this year. 114 of them have been beyond the arc. And he's made out of that 114, 56 for a 49% shooting clip. Pretty tough to do.
Fillmore fouled going up. Zierden's going to be called for that foul.
12,
and that'll take us to our next timeout. Well, Raggi gave Creighton their first lead of the game just a few moments ago. They found him from way downtown. He rattled it home. Creighton's up 1. CenturyLink Center here in Omaha, Nebraska, as we mentioned before, is one of the better college basketball venues in the country. In fact, Creighton averages the 4th highest attendance in college basketball. This place is jammed no matter what time of year it is. The students aren't even back here at Creighton, and they've still sold it out. They average more than 17,000 per game. They averaged last year more than 14 NBA teams.
That's unbelievable.
Average in their games.
That's unbelievable.
And it's a great lineage here at Creighton. You look at what they've done as far as the NCAA tournament goes. They've made it the last couple of years. In fact, Doug McDermott said that when he came to Creighton, his goal was to get to the NCAA tournament, that he has exceeded all of his expectations, but now he'd like to get to the NCAA tournament and even deeper here in 2014.
Well, everything that he's ever strove and striven for, he's accomplished. Check that off the list. Check another thing off the list. So I don't doubt him when he says, I want to do this or this as a team. I want to lead them to new heights. Wouldn't put it past him doing that at all.
Fillmore makes the first free throw, ties it up at 26. Misses the second one. Xavier had a 21-8 lead, and Creighton's on an 18-5 run. And that's made this a ball game. We're even at 26 with 7:20 to play here in the first half. Brooks has been the Energizer
pass.
Bunny. How about that pass and the finish by Dingman?
Dingman doing a great job of moving without the basketball. We already know how much attention Doug McDermott gets. How about the pass off the double team there, finding Dingman on the move?
Each team with 8 assists. You know, we saw that play at shoot-around today,
yes,
but it wasn't as crisp as that.
Another reason why Creighton's gotten themselves back in this game, 8-3 lead in points off a turnover. Their defense has picked it up.
That's an aggressive drive by Fillmore, a little hook shot over top of McDermott.
He makes compact moves, not a real wild or demonstrative kind of post player. Just 1 or 2 dribbles, very efficient, but he's also very effective when he does get it going in the post. Can face up or can drop step you with his back to the basket.
Well, Isaiah Fillmore, who Ala was just talking about, obviously picks up the foul there.
Look at that pass right there. Dingman doing a great job of moving, but it's the vision of Doug McDermott and the attention that he garners night in and night out, getting his teammates involved.
Officials are changing the foul, by the way.
Lost start.
I'm sorry, they're reconfirming the foul. That is Isaiah Fillmore. And you're right, it is a lost start, that passing.
And the moving without the basketball, looking for one another. Now the game is broken down into one-on-ones and pick and rolls. But the moving without the basketball is a lost art.
McDermott for 3. Off the inbounds, a little too easy.
When he hits the rim, let me know, partner, because right now it's nothing but nylon. He is something.
31-28 the score. Davis running the point. Randolph goes down low to Farr. Farr, one of the most improved players on Xavier's roster. McDermott with the rebound.
McDermott doing a good job of keeping hands up, not fouling.
Open again, this time short. Oh, he hit the rim.
Yeah, he did hit the rim. Thanks. And he missed. Shocker there.
Davis looks down low to Farr. Good extra pass outside for Kristen, and Kristen is fouled on the floor by Dingman.
And you can see that they're trying to go at whoever Doug McDermott is guarding because, again, we mentioned it earlier, if you have to defend for 40 minutes, that can be taxing. And what you hope is it takes a little bit out of him on the offensive end of the floor where he isn't as lethal as he's been in years and games past.
Fresh 35 for the Musketeers. Here's Samaje Kristen, has 5 points so far. Davis down low to Stainbrook. Stainbrook had an opening against Raggi but couldn't complete it. Dingman for 3. Odd shot. McDermott rebound. Reverse is good.
2 things on that last play. Who's the first guy down the floor on the fast break? Doug McDermott. Who's the guy who posts up and then blocks out to get an offensive rebound? Doug McDermott, the hardest working guy on this team. And folks, he's their best.
15 points now. He's 6 for 12 from the floor. Loose ball picked up by Dingman. And now Chapman up the floor looking in. Lost control, picked up by Davis. Ooh, nice dribble. And a foul on Zierden.
Creighton foul on number 21, Isaiah Zierden, his first personal. That's the Bluejays.
Here we go, watching him change ends. Seals right away, sees the rebound, the shot go up, I should say, and then he gets the rebound. He did all that work himself. Early work, was looking for the early post-up in transition, not there. Let's block out and go for the offensive rebound. Doesn't get frustrated when his teammates don't pass him the ball. It's just on to the next smart play. What a heck of a play.
Zierden checks out. Brooks back in. Stanger's going to check back in for Xavier after the shot by Davis if he makes it.
We know teams like to pick up full court and put a little pressure on you on free throws or after free throws made. That time not able to knock it down. Creighton in a regular O.
So Creighton's lead is at 5. 15 minutes gone by here in the first half.
The 1-4 high. They ran this earlier in shoot around. Didn't get his feet set on that last one. Looked a little off balance. And he knows it.
Stanger's going to check in for Stainbrook.
He's in for number 40, Matt Stainbrook.
Eric Stanger, as we said, a transfer from Northern Kentucky. He's a Cincinnati kid. Went to St. Xavier.
We look at Matt Stainbrook going to the bench. How many programs in this country do you know off the top of your head that can, in a time of need, find a 6'10 guy to transfer and come in and not just play time, like take up minutes, but produce and contribute? Matt Stainbrook is a ball player to transfer out of Western Michigan.
I think one of the things that Chris Mack has set him aside from a lot of other coaches is his ability to bring in transfers.
Nice step back.
Farr with the rebound. Good, strong offensive board and the lay-in.
Averaging 8.6 boards. The product out of Evanston, Illinois, stands at 6'9", 250. He likes to throw that wood around, too. You see it on that last exchange, pushing people around.
Chapman dribbled that one out of bounds. Well, let's get back to Farr, who just had that last bucket for the Xavier Musketeers. He played 42 minutes combined last year.
Look at him carving up a little space right there against Raggi inside. Hey, folks, it's not easy. Only men are allowed underneath there. That time, Farr carving out just enough space for him to put back in the hole.
Well, when he had his postseason conference with Chris Mack and the coaches, they said, listen, you got to become a better defender, and you've got to work on your footwork. And he did that, and he's come back and he's provided some strong minutes.
Look, if you want to go out there and you want to play for Chris Mack, you have to defend and rebound.
Yep.
You have to buy into what the rest of the team is doing.
33-30 the score. A big early lead for Xavier. Creighton's come back to take the lead under 4. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, and John Rothstein will have scores and highlights from around the country. Plus, we'll have first half highlights and statistics from right here in Omaha. Well, speaking of Wally Zerbiak, back when he played for Miami of Ohio, his numbers were kind of equivalent to what Doug McDermott is putting up this year at Creighton.
Oh, we knew Wally was a heck of a scorer. To see the fact that Doug McDermott is on that level, the ability to produce at a school where he's the main guy. Everything revolves around him. People don't realize that's not an easy thing to do. The pressure is on you. For instance, Creighton can ill afford to have Doug McDermott have a day off because they need him to play well every night. That's a certain kind of player. It takes a certain kind of mentality to be able to bring it night in and night out.
Oh, he's second in the country in scoring at 24.3. He's on pace to eclipse his normal numbers with what he's done here in the first half. And he's doing that with a sprained joint in his left shoulder.
Yeah, and let's use the word normal. It's all relative. Normal for him.
Well, that's true.
It's not normal for me.
That's true.
He's a heck of a ball player.
Brooks and Chapman are running the backcourt for Creighton. Dingman's into McDermott and then Artino.
Look at a post up Artino. 4 round 1 with Artino being the lone post up.
Tough pass. McDermott now to Dingman. Little zone put in by Xavier. Nope, now it's a man-to-man.
D. Davis is covering Artino inside, and Creighton unable to recognize and get him the ball.
So now Xavier can tie it up, and a blocking foul is called on Chapman. John Gaffney, the referee, made that call. John Gaffney, Alfred Smith, Don Daly are the officials today.
On the drive right there, just a little kick.
Miles Davis to the free throw line.
Just being real aggressive, catching the ball and taking off. Defense unable to recover. Last line of defense was sticking the leg out. Hey, it's better than giving up a layup, I guess.
Well, here's Miles Davis, who goes to the free throw line as Artino checks out. Rocky checks in.
Miles Davis. I would think of smooth jazz when I think of Miles Davis.
The other thing that you'll like about Miles Davis is he's from Plainfield, New Jersey.
All right, see? Something
Garden
you and
State.
I have in common.
That's right. 33-30 the score. Stigman off the screen, set by McDermott.
Got him posting up inside.
Yeah, there's a mismatch size-wise.
Called him with the push-off.
Yeah, that mismatch caused the push-up because his elbow was basically the height of his chin.
I'd like to take a look at that again, but you're right, partner. The height discrepancy had the elbow right at his face. Maybe that just kind of lent itself to an easy call by the officials. Let's see that post up again. Not quite sure there's a foul there. That left arm is allowed to stay out and hold its position. He didn't throw it, which would have been a no-brainer. Referees ticky-tack.
D. Davis with his third three of the half. And we're tied up at 33.
That's just gravy when he can knock down shots after the shot clock has been worn down, so to speak. You get the ball moving around the offense, then you find him with about 7 seconds left. When he knocks down those shots, you're going to take those because that's not his strength, nor is it something you're looking for out of him.
Well, D. Davis has averaged 7.5 per game coming in, and he has 9 in this first half.
All by the three, too, right, partner?
All by the three. Artino just 14 of 25 from the line. He didn't look like a 56% free throw shooter right there. All right, what is it, Alo, where sometimes a big man, he's 6'11", is not a good free throw shooter? I mean, you're 6'10". You were an excellent free throw shooter. You were at 78% your senior year at Duke.
That's just because I was born greedy. I didn't want to give back any points. With all seriousness, though, you get fouled at this level, chances are it hurts. So when you get to the free throw line, the last thing you want to do is reward the guy who just hurt you by giving back points. Be greedy, but at the same time, it didn't happen overnight, Tom. You've got to work at that.
Kristen with a beautiful drive and a very delicate roll into the basket.
Silky smooth, under control, and yet going full speed. What a talent.
9 brothers and sisters. He grew up in Cincinnati. They get a chance to watch him play at Xavier. One of the reasons why he went to the Xavier program.
9 brothers and sisters. You think he's tough? I bet you he's tough. You had to be tough around dinner time, I would think. With 9 brothers and sisters. Look at this. Silky smooth. The jump stop. Sees the defender, Artino. Goes with the right hand. I've been impressed with Stainbrook, too. The ability to pass out of the double teams. And look at the read right there. You can't teach that, folks.
That's moving without the ball right there.
That's moving without the basketball. And Stainbrook, they've been double teaming him all game long, but I've been impressed with his ability. Not every time, but for the most part, been able to pass out of those double teams. Because when an advantage is gained 2-on-1, there's an mismatched, outnumbered defense on the other side of the court. Move the ball around and find the guy who's not being covered.
Well, here's Kristen on the drive off the miss by Artino. Dingman did a good job sealing him off along the baseline. Under 2 minutes to play. Kristen thought about it. Yeah, he did. Got his man up, now leans, trying to draw the foul.
Yes, he was. Trying to get the defender up in the air. The defender wasn't going for it. Gave him some space. Referees had nothing to call there.
All right, now you have Martin on the bench for Xavier with 2 personal fouls. And you also have McDermott on the bench with 2 personal fouls for Creighton. Just to give you a reason why they're not playing at this point. Rocky got a little bit of a seal, and he gets it to go.
unconscious. That is a fluorescent green light Ethan Wragge has. He doesn't even hesitate, partner. It's as if he knows where he is on the floor at all times. All he's got to do is look up and locate that rim, and bang, knocks it down.
I think that's one of the reasons why it's difficult to overplay him defensively.
It's tough to get back to him because he's got such a quick release, and he shoots from Lincoln.
Under 10 on the shot clock. Kristen to Davis. He'll launch it from way downtown, speaking of Lincoln. And here comes Chapman up the floor.
Good corral there by Chapman. Good decision also to pull it back out and reset.
Here's Brooks. Beautiful fake on the pass. The drive no good, and he'll go to the free throw line. Don Daly called the late foul to allow Brooks to get a couple of shots.
Number 1, Jalen Reynolds.
Jalen Reynolds.
This is a different kind of team with the dribble drive, and with Doug McDermott out sitting on the bench. It's kind of equal opportunity right now. A very democratic kind of offense. Whoever's got it has got a good opportunity and a good look. Feel free to take it. That time, Brooks with the dribble drive.
Well, Brooks has 7 points in this first half, 3 of 4 from the floor. This is the first free throw.
Checking in for Creighton, number 40,
Zach Hansen in for the first time, the freshman from Pierre, South Dakota. Wragge, fan favorite, checks out.
This is Ethan Wragge's 130th game played in his career. That is remarkable. But when you think about it, a fifth-year senior, had some injuries, redshirted a year, so that's why the total is so high. And partner, 15 games into the season, it's only going to get higher. 130 games.
He had plantar fasciitis one season. He played a few games and then got that medical redshirt you were talking about. It's a huge benefit for him to be able to expand his game. He has 3 majors.
Yep. In his freshman year as a true freshman, came in against Xavier, scored 21 points in 17 minutes. You better believe against this team, he feels confident he can get it done.
All right, well, Xavier calls the timeout. There's a slight difference, 1.2 between the game clock and the shot clock. So Chris Mack wants to make sure that whatever shot he gets or whatever play he gets, the players understand it at this point.
If I was Coach Mack, I'd get, strategically speaking, I would get something going to the basket, a dribble drive. If nothing's there, you turn and you look and you dish out. Guys will be spotted up around the perimeter. It's what they did early on in the game to get them that quick lead. Look for them to revert back to that before they go into the locker room.
Meanwhile, for Greg McDermott, I think he's just hoping that he'll get at least one shot. He won't get it with Doug McDermott on the floor because he has 2 personal fouls. And most coaches, if you have 2 fouls in the first half, you're sitting. If you can, you're sitting for the rest of the half.
And he certainly can. They're in a position right now where they can afford to have him sit up 4 with 29 seconds and change left. So they can afford to do that. But you also want to make sure you go into the locker room feeling good about yourself. Whether that's a defensive stop or an offensive bucket by Xavier, either way, we're going to find out who's feeling good about their game in a little while here, 22 seconds.
Pretty much looking at the final shot right here for the Musketeers.
You don't want to foul if you're Creighton. Don't give them any points from the free throw line.
Davis, now they're looking for Kristen. Trying to get free. Dingman's on him. Down low to Stainbrook. Shot clock at 3. Into the paint. Can't get it to go. Artino leaves it for Zierden, who lets it fly. No good. It would have counted if it went down. Wow. A very entertaining first half here at CenturyLink Center in Omaha, Nebraska. We hope the second half is as entertaining. Take us through this right here, Ala.
You see, out of bounds, he looks up, he's got some time, that is lined up properly, just a little bit off to the right, but the fact that it was in the neighborhood, wow.
Pretty good form right there. The score at halftime, it's Creighton 39, Xavier 35. After the break, stay tuned for AT&T at the half. Brent Stover and the guys are back in the studios. They'll get you up to date on everything going on around college basketball. We'll be back with highlights and scores from here. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
This is AT&T at the half.
All right, welcome in. AT&T at the half. Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, John Rothstein. Entertaining opening 20 minutes. A couple of 3-0 teams in the Big East. Well, if you go on the road and you're Xavier, you knock down 4 early threes, you're up 12-zip. Problem is, you got McDermott on the other side.
Give Creighton credit. They didn't panic. Both teams are shooting the lights out from 3, and they got Doug McDermott going early on in that game, and he's been taking advantage of a lot of different defenders at different times. Xavier's tried guarding them with 3 different defenders. Right there, Stainbrook's not used to guarding the perimeter. Doug McDermott's eyes light up when he sees him on him, takes him back behind the 3, knocks down the 3. Fillmore, they switched onto him, catches him on a cut to the basket, and then Jalen Reynolds, the 3rd guy they tried, turns and shoots over him. A phenomenal first half by Doug McDermott, and I got to give his teammates a lot of credit. Austin Chapman is a great point guard. They do a great job of moving Doug McDermott around the floor in order to get him looks, and the other guys are very aggressive, great quality players, hence they have the lead.
And, you know, with the way that Creighton plays, they take you out of whatever rotation you had in terms of your front court. Xavier came into this game with a traditional front line of Isaiah Fillmore and Matt Stainbrook. Creighton hasn't been able to play against a front court like that all season because everybody's been trying to match up with them. They don't allow you to do what they do because of how well they shoot it from deep.
39-35 the break. Creighton in Omaha with the lead.
Well, this has been a great first half here in Omaha, Nebraska, where Creighton leads at 39-35. It should be as entertaining a second half. Hello, with Al Abdelnabi. I'm Tom McCarthy. It's what we expected, I would think, from an entertainment standpoint.
Well, we expected the talent to be on display, and that's what we got for sure. But what happened in the first half was Creighton earlier on really seemed to be slow reacting to Xavier's offense. We know about their changing ends, but in the half-court set, slow to get out to guys with the basketball, slow to close out on shooters, and Xavier took advantage of it. A little bit later on, made some adjustments. Knocking down shots helps as well.
Big time.
But when their offense clicked, Creighton's defense was clicking on all cylinders as well.
All right, let's take a look at our Geico difference makers. And Justin Martin got off to a great start. They got into a little bit of foul trouble.
He's the secret weapon, if you will, a guy who, like we mentioned, watching tapes of them play, become more and more of a fan of his. He's got to go in early. Doug McDermott didn't start off great shooting the basketball, but that very rarely lasts long. McDermott able to get 50.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights of the first half. Doug McDermott is kind of a highlight reel all by himself in some ways.
Stainbrook slow to get out and close to him, knocks it down. He's got such a quick release, and he's able to shoot with range. Got to get out there on Doug McDermott. Then the ability to rebound, box out, and get the offensive rebound. On the other end, Justin Martin knocking down 3 threes early. That's one of them right there. And we're going to see his prowess again from the right wing. Really got going early and then kind of sloughed off a little bit. But when he is aggressive, Xavier, a much better team.
Well, as we get set to begin the second half, we'll give you some statistics to feed off of. Doug McDermott needs just 3 points to tie Jimmer Fredette for 33rd in NCAA basketball. He's 4 away from 2,600. And Isaiah Fillmore, who you see right there, he needs 1 point to reach 1,000 for his career. So we'll keep an eye on both of those things as we begin the second half. 39-35 the score. John Gaffney says let's get it going, and Xavier will have the ball to begin the second half. What kind of adjustments do you think you'll see from both teams?
Well, I think what you're going to see is a little bit more movement from Doug McDermott, shooting from different places. And I think if you're Xavier, you want to defend and get out and run and get some easy buckets. 1.5 court set. Look for Stainbrook and Martin to get going along with Kristen.
Well, there's Martin from the baseline to pull Xavier within 2, 39-37. Certainly shoots with confidence. There's no doubt about that. So he said he's averaging just under 15 points per game in Big East play. He has 11 in this ball game. There's McDermott with a little slip to the basket. That's worked twice today perfectly.
And that's the movement. You expect him to spot up out on the perimeter that time, doing a great job of moving without the basketball. The problem is if you're Xavier, defender cannot trail McDermott. You've got to cut him and beat him the spots out on the floor. Don't let him just roam freely.
Oh, the foul called underneath
number 34, Ethan Rogge.
Against Ethan Rogge. That's his second. And the first for Greg McDermott's team in the second half.
Rogge giving up about 4 inches to Matt Stainbrook. Stainbrook recognizing it, trying to post Raggi up. Creighton in a 2-3 zone.
McDermott on Fillmore, helped out with Raggi. Fillmore, glasses all bunched up. Has to get it back out to Kristen. Kristen with his runner is good. A beautiful kiss off the glass.
Soft touch, able to withstand the contact in the lane and still focus on the rim and its location. It's not an easy shot. He just makes it look easy.
Yeah, we talk a lot about McDermott, but remember, Kristen is a first-team preseason All-Big East selection. McDermott.
Anytime you talk to an NBA scout and there's someone here tonight, Kristen is a guaranteed pro, and so is that guy who just knocked down that bucket, Doug McDermott, for his Blue Jays.
And for McDermott now, 2,600 career points. He's just moved past Jimmer Fredette. Fillmore trying to get to 1,000. Shot is no good. The rebound by Chapman.
Xavier trying to climb the boards and get that offensive rebound. Good block out.
Wow. From the Blue Jays logo, Ethan Raggi for 3.
Partner, there's some people, just by human nature, they hesitate or they think things over. Not that man right there. He's got one thing to do. Get it up.
He might win a contest or two when he gets a little older if he's able to do that. Kristen off the pass from Fillmore. So Samaje Kristen has a couple of buckets in the second half, 46-41.
Showing you that left hand, ambidextrous, going to need that at the next level. Doesn't matter where he posts up. He can post up close to the bucket. Wow.
Raggi rattles it home.
It's not fair, partner. There isn't a defense in the country that's designed to stop that. Ball gets swung all the way across the court. Help side is sloughing off in the lane. You don't expect him to shoot it from out there, but he does.
And McDermott misdirects that shot. Here comes Raggi again from downtown.
And this place just gets rocking. Ethan Raggi, unconscious. Wow, that one was from by us. At mid-court.
You can see it going in, too, from where we were.
Lined up perfectly.
Stainbrook double team, loses it. Raggi and McDermott.
Looked a little lethargic on that post-up. Got to be stronger, more decisive.
McDermott misses the 3. Stainbrook with the rebound. Well, that quiets things down just a little bit.
Chris Mack's got to be thinking about whether or not a timeout is needed right now. Let's see. They want to run good offense. Good offense can at times help your defense because what it's not allowing is runouts, steals. Be efficient on the offensive end and get a good shot.
There's the tip out, picked up by Dingman. Knocked away by Martin. Good defense. Hey, by the way, just to remind everybody, Xavier jumped out to a 12-0 lead. Now, that was early in the first half. But think about that. A 12-0 lead, and now it's 52-41 as the foul is called against the Blue Jays.
Creighton foul on number 34, Ethan Raggi. It's his third personal.
Well, when you can hit it from the distance of Ethan Raggi, you know that your team's having a blast. Raggi with 2 long threes, including this one. You think they're smiling here in Creighton? Yeah, they are. They've revamped a lot of things here at Creighton, including their new logo. Their president, Father Timothy Lannon, has done an unbelievable job, as he did at St. Joe's first here at Creighton University. Creighton leads at 52-41 with 15:43 to play. Let's take a look at our Sonic stat pack. What jumps out at you right there, Al?
I think the field goal percentage has to jump out to the 14% difference. That's huge, especially when you consider that it was Xavier that started off shooting the basketball real well, and then the bench points. No real surprise there. The fact that Doug McDermott does have a lot of support. The interesting thing, though, is that bench and that rotation is one less without Gibbs.
Good point.
They've been very effective.
Yeah, we talked about this during the outset. You know, Doug McDermott is so special as a player. He has 19 points in this ball game, but they are playing without Grant Gibbs. We said that was going to be a big deal tonight. It hasn't affected them all that much, but certainly his leadership is huge. And McDermott, Doug, as you see some of the stats that he's put up, he acknowledged that. I mean, that's a big deal to not have Grant Gibbs on the floor at all times.
He's the guy who gets him in the huddles. He's the guy when things are going wrong, gets him back on the same page again. So he is missed. but they've got a lot of other guys to step up.
Well, there's Stainbrook, who's getting treated on the bench right now. It looked like he may have gotten something right in the nose. And the officials are going to take a look and see whether there was any kind of a flagrant foul. Raggi was called for the foul. And obviously Stainbrook is dealing with what looks to be a bloody nose at this point.
Well, buddy, you've always commented on how crooked and ugly I am. 4 broken noses. That's what you get for playing on the inside.
Did you ever have to play with one of those masks or anything like that?
Back in the day, I'm so old, they didn't have them back in the day. They would just have the little tape that they would put on you. But later on came all the gadgets and doohickeys, if you will, with the glass face mask. But back then it was just, tape it up and get back out there, Abdelnaby.
Now, from the initial reaction, it didn't seem like there was some contact that the officials are looking for, that Raggi did anything wrong at all.
Listen, there's just so many big bodies in such a small, confined area that a little extra limb, a shove, that's par for the course. That just happens out there sometimes, most times, unintentionally. Ethan Raggi's never been known as a dirty player, just plays hard.
Yeah, there was certainly no contact right there. Stainbrook is fine as he's coming up the floor.
That's got to smart a little bit, though. Gives you stars, makes your eyes water. Still addressing it on the sideline. It's going to take a lot for Matt Stainbrook to stay out of this game, though.
All right, see the battle down low. The double team, which we've seen often.
You see the right arm by Raggi, but wasn't thrown.
Just looking for the ball more than anything else.
Yeah, he had his hands up in a solid defensive position. It was Stainbrook that tried to split the double team, went into the defenders. Nobody to blame on that foul.
So it's a foul on Raggi, but it's not, a flagrant one or a flagrant two. And here you see the explanations as John Gaffney comes over just to let us know what they're looking at. Flagrant one, excessive contact or pushing, holding a player from behind to prevent a score. Excessive, severe, or extreme contact with an opponent while ball is live. An ejection is part of the definition for flagrant two.
And the word he used to us was incidental.
Incidental.
Let's play on.
Farr with the 3, no good. Chapman pulls down the rebound.
You hate to see someone get taken out of a game for something that he really didn't deserve to do. It's good to see the officials get a chance to talk it over. Video helps. Raggi's still out there to contribute on the bench right now.
See Creighton's numbers, their 3-point shooting. They have one more made 3-pointer than 2-pointers. Chapman has it knocked away. Picked up by Artino. Shot clock does not reset. McDermott for 3. No good. It rattles in and out.
How about that defense for Xavier? Chapman saw a wide open lane. He drove after the first dribble. That lane collapsed on him. Defense quick to rotate. Chris Mack, you could see his influence on that end of the floor.
Now they called a timeout there because Isaiah Fillmore, his glasses were jarred. His goggles were jarred for a moment. So they're going to take a look again and see what happened here. See Artino lost it. Again, Fillmore did get something in the chops, but I think they're going to say play on.
Big bodies, small area. Stuff like that happens all the time. The new rules are such where we've got to look it over.
Well, let's take a look at it one more time. We showed you the definitions a moment ago.
Hands straight up. Artino not really throwing his elbows, just trying to secure the basketball and stay strong, but he did catch him.
Yeah, the officials have a better understanding than I do. I agree with you. I don't think he was throwing it at all. I think there was contact.
Absolutely.
But I don't think he was throwing his elbows. Now, Don Daly, that's Don right there. He and John Gaffney were both looking at it. They're going to call it incidental contact, so it's going to be Xavier ball. And it was Xavier ball anyway.
Good decisions by the referees. Can you imagine if Raggi or Artino, in particular Raggi, got taken out of this game? Who's going to shoot the ball from the next state?
I don't know. They'll have to pay the toll and come on back into Nebraska.
Well, Iowa isn't that far. Council Bluffs is right across the Mighty Mo.
Here's D. Davis. He had a good first half scoring. Now to Kristen. Couple field goals so far in this second half.
Take
Fillmore.
It's not the Mighty Mo. It's the Mississippi.
Mississippi. I knew what you were talking about. Fillmore, there's 1,000 points for Isaiah Fillmore. We mentioned he had 653 when he played at Towson. That's a great honor for anybody, high school, college, to reach 1,000 points.
Well, plus the universities around the country now keep lists, so he will be on that list for a good time to come. His presence has been felt.
McDermott, a quick shot, no good. Artino with the rebound, and he's fouled.
Not a highly skilled big guy, but he plays hard. He doesn't mind mixing it up, and more importantly, he keeps it simple. Defend and rebound. You want the ball, get it off the glass.
To the free throw line for the Blue Jays, number 31, Will Artino, shooting 2.
There's McDermott down low. All right, our research department has backed up, as you see, Artino's foul.
My instincts initially right.
Your Duke education, your Bloomfield High education.
Guessed myself, right?
You are correct. It is the Missouri.
The Mighty Mo.
Artino's second free throw.
We don't want to be wrong here and give out the wrong information
I'm with you.
To our listeners and viewers.
Our next subject on Jeopardy will be coming up in just a moment. Here's D. Davis.
1,000. Politics for 1,000, Alex.
52-43, a 9-point lead for Creighton. Tempo's kind of slowed down a little bit. Martin thought about taking that three over top of Brooks. Kristen down low, off the screen. Count the bucket.
What he did there was he read Isaiah Fillmore posting up, saw the defense was stuck in the lane. Let's take a look at it again. There's Fillmore with the post up. Artino slow to get over. That's a tough shot. He's obviously studying English at Xavier because there was a little spin off the glass right there.
Beautiful.
Shooting 1, number 0, Samaje Kristen.
So Artino picks up the foul. Kristen, as a freshman last year, really stormed onto the Atlantic 10 scene. Folks at Xavier were talking about how he was the man and there weren't a lot of go-to guys and he would force a lot of shots. He's very much comfortable in his own skin. Artino off the pass for Brooks. I have to say that I think Devin Brooks has made such a world of difference in this ball game. Martin's answer is no good, and the push by Fillmore, and he is now officially in a little bit of foul trouble.
Brooks has come into the game and done nothing but good things. He's got 4, you mentioned. Brooks has done nothing but contribute to this team in so many different ways. What a guy like Grant Gibbs brought to the team, he is doing right now by leading them on the offensive end of the floor and imploring his teammates to bring it on the defensive end as well. But how about the dribble drives? Earlier led to his own buckets. Now they're leading to his teammates getting involved because you've got to respect that penetration. It leaves guys and shooters wide open.
Well, he has the ball, bringing it up the floor. As we said, the transfer from junior college. Chapman along with Managa and Brooks. They're running the backcourt. Brooks looking inside for Artino. Puts it on the floor. Speeds along the baseline. Big wraparound pass. And the jumper is good. That was all about the pass, I think.
Absolutely.
Not to take anything away from the shot, but that was a beautiful pass with great control, and again with the left hand.
And he had to do it around the defender as well, the diminutive one, throwing it to the baseline, finding his backcourt mate. Nice little two-man game from opposite ends.
Chapman with the steal, largest lead of the afternoon for Creighton. They're looking to extend it. Brooks for three.
McDermott could have easily taken that himself, partner, but how about the extra pass, finding the hot hand? It's not about him all the time. It's about winning.
Out of bounds off of Xavier. Blue Jay basketball.
57-45, 12:38 to play. Here in the second half. Creighton down 12-0 to start. They have really found their rhythm, not only defensively, but they have found their rhythm offensively. And it's not just one guy. How about Brooks off the bench to Artino off the bench? Everybody help it out. Creighton on top by 12, 57-45. They had ice hockey here last night. Nebraska-Omaha. The Mavericks wound up losing. They changed it over to basketball very quickly, and Creighton has a 12-point lead over Xavier with 12:38 to play in the ball game. Time now to take a look at our assist of the game, brought to you by Ally Bank.
Well, he's known for his scoring. Here's the high post up, but bang! How about the movement without the basketball? McDermott, head on a swivel, finds his teammate cutting to the basket. Look at that pass right there. Efficient and effective.
Well, he's got 2,600 points now with what his effort is today at 19 points, 8 for 18 from the floor, 3 assists. There are a number of NBA scouts here, including some general managers who are looking at not only McDermott, who's no doubt a first-round pick. Is he a lottery pick?
He may very well be. I mean, you know what I think helps? It's going to help him if he plays well and advances far in the NCAA tournament. When no one else is playing and your team is still out there, that lasting impression goes a long way.
Well, a lot of NBA scouts and GMs here, including John Paxson from the Chicago Bulls.
Orlando Magic are well represented here as well, all sitting to our right on press row, coming to watch a heck of a matchup here.
Yeah, they're watching McDermott. They're also watching Samaje Creighton. Let's not underscore his talents, too. This is where we are. That's my hand. That's Allah. And right down there, see, there's John Paxson, who's got the goatee looking to his right.
Yep. And the red-headed gentleman sitting next to him is the Orlando Magic assistant general manager.
Stainbrook inside along the baseline. Good power move to the basket. He's 40 pounds lighter than what he was in Western Michigan, where he was a 2-year starter.
Not a lot of wasted movement. Knows what he wants to do out there. And we talked about it with the SID a little earlier. Doesn't get rattled like a lot of youngsters do when he gets the ball in the post. Calm, cool demeanor, makes good decisions.
Xavier SID, the associate athletic director, the great Tom Iser, has been there for a long time. Foul called underneath. It's going to be away from the ball, of course. I believe they're going to call it on Isaiah Zierden. Here's Isaiah. His dad is an assistant coach with the Washington Wizards. Fresh 35 for the Musketeers. 8 minutes gone by here in the second half.
Stainbrook does a really good job of posting up that time. Martino does an even better job of moving him off the block.
Oh, nice pass on the cut by Martin.
Nice soft pass, too, for Martin to be able to get that in traffic and not a far distance. Martin with the conversion, but Stainbrook, we talked about it earlier, does a good job out of the double team passing to his teammates.
Martino trying to post up with Farr down low.
Pick and roll. McDermott in it.
Ball is deflected. Shot clock is down to 10. Chapman, and he's fouled just in front of the Creighton bench. Brandon Randolph will be called for the personal foul. 11 minutes, 20 seconds to play. Which one of these teams will be unbeaten in the Big East when it's done? We'll find out. Creighton with the lead, 57-49, 11:20 to play. I would believe that we have seen another emergence today for the Bluejays. Devin Brooks off the bench, I think, has been a game changer at times.
With Gibbs not being in the lineup, they needed someone to step up and provide leadership and be assertive, and that certainly has been. You talk about the ability. He's done it all game long right now. Brooks has been so effective on the penetration, but early on, the penetration by him set up the drive and dish to his teammates later on. So you're seeing his work earlier is rewarding his teammates as we go down the stretch here. This is a big juncture for them right now. If you're Xavier, you want being down 8 to come out of a timeout, get a good play when you get the ball. Creighton's got it right now. But you want to be effective and get your best players involved. We haven't really heard from Christian, with the exception of his 2 layups a little bit earlier in the half. Where is Martin right now? Stainbrook has been effective. You need them all on the same page as we enter this last 11 and 15.
Well, you see the three-point shooting, the bench points, 12 for Creighton. A lot of that's because of Brooks. Rocky's back in. Manigat off to the corner. Here is Dingman with the slam.
That was all set up by Manigat, and the pump fake and the pass to the corner. The pump fake drew defenders. When he got it to the corner, there was nobody left to run out on a defense. Just being aggressive that time, and Dingman being rewarded.
McDermott with the cleanup, and he's fouled.
Enthusiasm. How about the hard work? Running down to get the offensive rebound. It's his 13th 20-point game this season. Partner, we've got 10:47 left to go. He's going to get a lot more than that.
Boy, I'd say his shoulders not bother him whatsoever. Watch him run the floor.
Just doesn't give up on the play. Dingman there and McDermott. Guys going after the ball. Hungry.
Oh, McDermott As you would imagine, he's good at a lot of things. He's very good at free throw shooting, except for missing there. 91% on the year before that miss. Now it's 61-49. It matches the largest lead of the game for Creighton.
They're doubling Stainbrook like they have all night on the catch. Not waiting for the dribble. As soon as he gets it, he sees two people.
Kristen draws the foul. How he was able to keep his foot planted while he was waiting for the contact, I don't know.
I think he may have gotten the foot stepped on. That's what kept it planted on the floor. Can't tell from that angle. Little herky-jerky off-rhythm kind of move. But you said, partner, did not travel.
So now Kristen goes to the line for Chris Mack's team. He has attempted 115 free throws this year, 65 more than the next guy. And he makes that one. Not everyone can be a quarterback, so let's get inside the minds of those who can. Don't miss NFL Monday Morning Quarterback, delivered by FedEx. Tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
You mentioned McDermott's 13th game with 20 points. It's the 69th of his career, partner. That's a lot of scoring. And not just to be scoring this year, he's been doing it for the duration of his career here in a Blue Jays uniform.
61-51, a 10-point lead. Manigat working against Brooks, crossover, using his speed, can't get it to go, follows it beautifully.
And jumped once for the layup and beat Stainbrook up for the second leap to get the offensive rebound. That time the quickness got the better of that matchup.
Stainbrook inside, spin move, and he forced his way to the basket.
Big move by Stainbrook right there. They absolutely need it. And we mentioned a little bit earlier how important it is as we enter under 9:50 in this game that Xavier stays in this game. Down 10 right now. You want to be able to get some steals off the defensive end that lead to easy buckets. At the very least, be efficient on offense. That's not going to help.
Stainbrook was no match defensively. No offense. He's a wonderful player, but McDermott just put it on the floor and just rocked him to sleep.
And D. Davis slow to get on that double team, giving McDermott operating room. And that time, how about that little trick shot by the sophomore?
Chris Mack calls the timeout. All right, watch this. Whoop. Whoop.
That's a tough call right there. That's a tough matchup for Stainbrook. It seemed as he's almost toying with him, taking him from the right side. No, I'm going to go back left. Stainbrook, as good as he is, doesn't have the foot speed.
Well, and to his defense, he's probably more of an interior defender than an exterior defender.
And he's covering somebody out of position. Yeah. He would never have to cover him or a player like Doug McDermott in the normal scheme of things, but because they get switched out and the ball movement is so effective, you got a mismatch, and give credit to McDermott for recognizing it.
So a 10-point lead for Creighton. You know, let's point out, too, that both these teams came in undefeated in the Big East. Both, though, had solid non-conference schedules. You know, Xavier played a lot of home games. You know, Creighton hasn't been home in a little bit of while. RPI, you know, strength of schedule, all those things. Xavier coming in 19th. That's pretty darn good. Creighton 26th. That's pretty darn good.
Absolutely, no slouches here. And the trend in college basketball these days is to play big games or better teams than in years past, in particular the games leading up to your conference schedule. We've seen that in the last couple years, big matchups earlier on in the season, and it makes teams better later on when they approach March.
Little pressure put on by Xavier. Brooks feeds McDermott, who lays it in.
How about the running of the court? One end to the other, he takes the ball out of bounds, and instead of watching the offense do its thing, he wants to be a part of it. Now, he's not in your screen right now, folks. Here he comes. Not giving up on the play. How about the pass by Brooks? Here it is again from a different angle. See him fill in the lane. Defense late to get to him. Constant motion. Number 3 for the Creighton Blue Jays. And as a defender, partner, you hate to play against any offensive player who doesn't stop moving, because that is going to be a sign that you're going to be working today.
26 points. It's the largest lead of the game for Creighton. 9:10 to play, second half.
Do you want to match Doug McDermott's work level? That's the question right now.
Martin with a nice drive against McDermott. He misses, and they'll call the foul.
Staying on this end.
Creighton foul on number 3, Doug McDermott, his third.
Goes against McDermott. That's his third.
Here he is on the drive, giving a little body. And then over the top. That has to be the call. Over the top on Stainbrook. McDermott coming out for a second.
Number 31, Will Artino.
So Will Artino checks back in for McDermott. One of the things that we talked about in the early part of this ball game that both coaches talked about as Stainbrook powers his way over the top of Artino, rebounding. Both coaches talked about it. Both coaches making an emphasis. Creighton is out rebounding Xavier right now. Has that made is that a factor in tonight's game?
Absolutely, because coming into this game, they're the best rebounding team in the Big East with a margin of +7. So if you can out-rebound them, that's an advantage to you, in particular at home, where you know theoretically you're going to shoot better.
Martin tries to answer the three by Manigat with one of his own. It's no good. He gets his own rebound, though, and he doesn't get the friendly roll. Kristen. Kristen will keep it alive for Xavier.
Concentration level isn't where it should have been on that drive.
Kristen, though, rattles the three home to make it a 71-60 game.
Been quiet for a little stretch here, letting his teammates get involved in the game, but he has more than enough ability to take over. Let's see what he does moving forward here with 8 minutes left. Good opportunity for Xavier with McDermott on the bench to perhaps make a little bit of run, get themselves back in this game. 11 points. Let's see what happens with McDermott on the bench.
Manigat has the shot misdirected. The rebound pulled down by Davis. Now to D. Davis. Miles to D. And the foul by Devin Brooks out front.
Bluejays foul number
7:44 to play here in the second half. It is an 11-point lead, but you would think that Xavier has a run left in them. Today's AT&T game summary, and both teams are shooting well from beyond the arc. It's just that Creighton has 4 more threes than Xavier does.
Well, that's part of their game. Is Xavier a little bit more half court, getting to the rim, want to play in transition, while Creighton is certainly not shy. In particular, guys like McDermott and Raggi, the ability to knock down long-range jump shot. They've been playing to their strengths, as both teams have thus far.
So the numbers at the bottom, we expected that Doug McDermott and Samaje Kristen would be the leading scorers for their teams respectively. That is the case. Kristen, you see, has 20 points again. It's become something of a common number for him recently.
Oh, no, he's a heck of a ball player. And the ability now, he's got to learn the next stage of basketball. And what's that next stage for him? To play with the attention that he's going to get right now. Doug McDermott's used to it. He's been the best player for a long time. Kristen has got to be able to play with the attention that he's going to get from the other team's defenses, and I think that's the adjustment he's making right now. But at times it's going to be spotty. Look for him, though, to assert himself moving forward as we go down the stretch.
All right, off this timeout, D. Davis goes to the free throw line. Doug McDermott, with all of the emphasis that's been on these freshmen around college basketball. I think Phil Martelli, the head coach of St. Joseph's, who I think has a great perspective on a lot of things, basketball and beyond, says, you know, all this stuff about the freshmen, I'm paraphrasing Phil, which he doesn't mind, but this guy's the best player in the country. I mean,
and proven. See, that's the other thing, is coaches like a proven commodity, someone they can count on having done it before, and I think no offense to any of the freshmen that have come in, Jabari Parker, Julius Randle, Aaron Gordon, any of those guys, certainly capable. But you got to give the nod to the guy who's done it, been there, done that, especially at a high level. McDermott is that guy.
Raggi from way downtown again, no good. He was hot earlier. So an 11-point lead for Creighton. Let's see what Xavier has in store offensively, trying to get to single digits.
Raggi is the ultimate heat check guy. Just came in the game and he's already knocking or trying to knock down jump shots.
Well, Matt Stainbrook with that field goal draws the foul. Manigat called for the foul. Now Stainbrook, a 68% free throw shooter, will go to the line.
As he matures, as his body gets stronger, as he starts to shed some of that weight, Matt Stainbrook has all the potential to be an NBA ball player.
Really?
The idea is he's got to learn to change ends quicker, because there's a big difference between 35 seconds and 24. If he can make that adjustment, he certainly has all the tools playing back to the basket, something that not a lot of guys do these days.
And McDermott able to use the body of Stainbrook to brace himself and then get the bucket off the glass.
Stronger than he looks, able to take that contact and not lose concentration. You see him right there, carving out a little space. McDermott not shy to rebound.
Well, this was an 8-0 run, and now a foul called.
Heard that slap from here.
great effects mics here in Omaha. Chris Mack doesn't agree.
His second
foul on Kristen.
You're letting him play a little bit, but at times when advantage is gained, you've got to call it. That time, you see right here, slap on the wrist. Not in the shooting motion. That's an obvious foul. Kristen trying to be aggressive.
Well, and what you said, not in the shooting motion, so they're going to inbound instead of free throws.
Yep. Chris Mack imploring his team right now for a steal, at the very least a stop.
Rest of the half, both teams will be shooting free throws. Villanova 4-0 in the Big East. Creighton and Xavier both 3-0. One will be undefeated, still unbeaten in the conference once this baby's over with. McDermott with the ball fake, and he goes hard to the floor.
Up quickly, though.
Landed on his shooting shoulder, not the sore left shoulder.
Right. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not, but at least he's getting up right now. Triple threat position, the rocker step, nice little pump fake with the quick dribble drive. Defense having no choice there, Martin, but to foul. You know, one of the other good things Creighton has done today, and we talked about it with Coach McDermott earlier this morning, they've done a really good job of getting back on defense. Xavier, very few fast break points, only 2 for this game. Now, when you consider that it's one of their strengths that they like to get up and down and get easy buckets, if you can limit that strength or even curtail that strength to where it's only resulted in 2 points, advantage gained by the Blue Jays.
What did he joke you? You asked him how many guys you're going to go back. He said 3, 4.
Yeah, I said, Coach, you're going to send back 1 or 2? He goes, if I can send 3 or 4, I would. That shows you the point of emphasis on stopping Xavier's break.
That's 30 points for McDermott. It's the 6th time this year he has reached 30 points in a game, the 20th time in his career. Stainbrook, a bounce pass cut off.
Nice penetration there. Good cut by Kristen. Stainbrook, though, unable to complete the pass. Good active hands by Creighton.
Raggi misses the 3. That would have lifted the roof off the building.
And he missed the last one. Did it even seem a little bit hesitant to you on this next one, partner? No.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
McDermott just went hard to the floor, and the foul called.
Manigat, that's his
4th. Dingman's going to check back in for him.
You know, sometimes a lot of great players, when you take a look at the slip here on the last play.
Avery Dingman checking in for the Blue Jays. He's in for number 12.
Well, we said they had a hockey game here last night. They quickly made a transition.
Isaiah Fillmore to the free throw line for Xavier.
Slippery spot out on the floor. Took down Creighton's best player.
Fillmore, 1-on-1 opportunity. Misses. McDermott with the rebound. McDermott with 30 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists in today's ball game. 5.5 to play here in Omaha.
He's not your typical shooter. He likes to mix it up. A lot of shooters out there don't like to be touched, don't like to have someone be physical with them. That is not the case with Doug McDermott. Likes the little contact.
Off of Xavier, Blue Jay basketball.
It'll remain Blue Jays ball with 14 on the shot clock. 5:17 to play. It's a 10-point game. It's not over by any stretch, but Xavier needs a little bit of a run here offensively.
They've got to get some stops, and they've got to start scoring and being efficient. You don't want to waste opportunities on the offensive end of the floor. That's what Xavier's done. Their defense has kept them in it thus far, but you've got to be effective on both ends. Push off, got away with it.
And Brooks' shot is no good. Fillmore with the rebound. D. Davis running the floor. Here's Kristen, quick first step, and he's fouled by Raggi.
Did you see how quick he
exploded?
Man, from the wing to the bucket with one dribble. Folks, you can't teach that. He's going by people right now. So fast, you had to foul him.
Let me correct that. It's Dingman who's called for the foul. Instead of Raggi. Both were in the neighborhood, so Kristen to the line, doesn't make the free throw.
Can't get points back. Trying to get yourself back in this game, 10 points, chip away at it one by one. Can't give away valuable points. There you go.
So it's back to a 3-possession game with 5 minutes to play.
Far back in the game for some rebounding and defense. Discussing it right now with Fillmore, how we're going to cover McDermott and when do we double team.
Raggi left open for three, short. Last three have been short from Raggi.
Yeah, maybe he's getting a little tired.
Kristen from the baseline gets it over top of Dingman.
That's not an easy bucket.
Well, a schoolyard game has broken out between Samaje Kristen and Doug McDermott. Now a foul is called on Fillmore. I guess hooking.
Yep, that's a good call. Came back to Samaje Christian earlier on in the shoot-around earlier in the day. The rest of the team, after they got through the skull session talking about strategy, went and shot on one end of the floor, and you can see the laser-like focus from Samaje Christian alone by himself, not speaking to anybody, not talking to any teammates, just focusing on his shot, focusing on what he needs to do tonight, almost kind of giving himself a mental pep talk. You and I commented on it. That looked like a businessman on a business trip.
Well, there's a stoppage of play because Fillmore is now fouled out, so he has 5. He's disqualified, so they get a moment to make the adjustment.
You figured 1,000 points is enough. I'm done. We still need him.
Just to expand on Kristen and what you were saying during shoot-around, normally we'll talk to some players. I went over and just said hello to him, and he just really a deep-rooted nod. The eyes.
He acknowledged you.
Acknowledged me,
but it wasn't about talking.
Yeah,
I'm not in the mood to talk today. I hope you understand. And being around ball players like we have, you get it. You understand it. You respect it.
McDermott gets 1. 76-68. McDermott now with 32.
Smooth, effortless, as it comes from a result of working on your game for years and years. That's all you got to do to be a better free throw shooter. Practice.
Kristen is fouled out near the free throw line.
Dingman, a little incredulous, thought he moved his feet.
Number 22, Avery Dingman, his 4th personal foul.
Take a look at the drive again, the behind the back, the little stutter, hesitation dribble. Dingman doing a good job of moving his feet, staying with him. That could have gone either way, partner.
Yeah, they could have just let that play on. Kristen to the line, 23 points, 3 of 5 from the free throw line. The first of 2 is good.
8-point game. If that's what it takes, if you're a Xavier Musketeer to get back in this game, shoot free throws, so be it. But when you get there, like Christian has done the last 2 times, make the most of it.
Second shot is good. Stainbrook will check back in. Farr checks out.
Look for a little full court pressure, or at least by Samaje Christian. Here they come. D. Davis as well. If nothing else, disrupt the offense.
Absolutely.
Just get them out of rhythm. You're not necessarily looking for the steal. Just picking up the pace and hopefully putting the offense in situations they're unaccustomed to. And hopefully that'll lead to something good for your team. Wow.
McDermott in position before the pass arrives.
Forget everything I just said. Doug McDermott is the great negator. You make strides on the offensive end if you're Xavier, and he takes that all the way with a quick 3.
Well, folks, we're seeing something special here today. It's not often that you'll see a 35-point score. That's what we're watching. McDermott cans another 3. It's his 4th of the game.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is being brought to you by AT&T. Rethink possible.
Well, that is the Monument to Labor statue along the Missouri River, located at Lewis and Clark's original landing spot. Don't forget, coming up right after this ball game at St. Joseph's at VCU, women's college basketball. It's coming up as soon as this game comes to a close. And this is the kind of game that you kind of wish would keep on rolling on. It's been a good day of college basketball on CBS Sports Network. It included Louisville and SMU right before this one. And, of course, Doug McDermott, who has 35 points today for Creighton. They weren't sure what kind of an impact he would have. His left shoulder had a sprain. He didn't practice Wednesday. Didn't really do much on Thursday, but it looked like he was alive and kicking at shoot-around today.
With just about 4 minutes left in a 10-point game, this game is far from over.
Yeah, I agree.
Anything could happen when you think about it. Xavier on the line right now. They convert this, get into a full court pressure situation that could possibly lead to a steal, and then all of a sudden you've got yourself a much different kind of outlook, but you've got to make your free throws.
See that look right there by Chris Mack? That's a look of a coach whose team is 10 of 18 from the free throw line, which is not what he would want them to be at this point. Now 11 of 19 as Davis makes the free throw and heads on out.
Can't give back 8 points. You can't make them all either, but you certainly got to make the majority of them. And by majority, I mean at least 65%.
And we got a little foul trouble for Creighton. 3 different players with 4 fouls, including McDermott, Managa, Digman. Isaiah Fillmore's already fouled out for Xavier.
As experienced as McDermott is, he's been in this situation before, knows what he can and can't do. Look at Martin.
Martin was stumbling his way toward the basket. He was fouled at the free throw line, so he'll go to the line for 2.
That's
fourth foul on Rocky. So now you've got 4 players with 4 fouls.
Take a look at this again. Here he comes. Tried to split the double team right there. He's just out of control, and yet he's still the fastest guy on the floor. Unbelievable.
Number 20, Justin Martin. To the
wonder if that
line,
was a clear path situation that the referees may want to look at, but obviously they thought differently. Kind of looked like he had a go at the basket.
He did. You know, the only thing is that they were defending each other out along the perimeter. I thought the same thing, that maybe they would call the intentional.
And it looked like he was playing the ball as well, too, not going for the body, which is all as a referee's looking for.
Substitution for Xavier is number 22, Landon Amos.
Landon Amos in for the first time. Stainbrook checks out. 3:37 to play. It's a 7-point game. Full court pressure by Xavier.
Amos in for pressure, a senior, well adapted to this system, knows what's expected of him. Oh, almost a turnover right there.
Pretty good catch down low. Amos is covering McDermott. Martin will pick him up on the switch, so that means Amos will get Chapman. The pressure forces Creighton to get into its offense a little late. Shot clock is at 10.
Doing a good job of being patient. Now you've got to operate. 5 seconds left.
Here's Chapman. He'll stop and launch the 3. Good!
Just when they need it most, and it doesn't come from number 3. This is a well-rounded team. If you haven't seen Creighton before, folks, they're not a one-man team. They have pieces, and in this building, they're a formidable opponent.
Look where the shot clock is. 5, 4, 3.
Great recognition. Knows exactly how much time he has left and what he's capable of doing. That little quick dribble gets him enough space to be able to loft that sucker. That's a long shot in a desperate moment, but he seemed the most calm guy out there.
50% from beyond the arc today. They're normally the 3rd best three-point shooting team in college basketball. Well, today they're the best shooting team in college basketball from beyond the arc. Crowd applauding how they broke the press so comfortably.
Is that kind of like when an airplane lands and the passengers applaud?
After it's bumpy, here's McDermott, blocked away by Amos. Davis trailed by Raggi. Almost lost control. Left-handed shot no good. Loose ball pulled down by Managa.
Davis almost pulled off a very difficult drive and kiss off the glass to no avail, but how about the aggressiveness? You got to like the attacking.
And Brooks is fouled, so he'll go to the line.
More attacking, more aggressiveness being rewarded. Brooks with the little drive, takes the hit. And he kind of knew it was coming. He saw the defender closing in on him, braces himself for it, hopes to give himself a chance to at least release the basketball. Defense did a good job of not letting the shot get up, but he's at the line.
So now Devin Brooks to the free throw line. Brooks has 10 points today, 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Out of Harlem and the very famed St. Raymond's High School.
A lot of ball players. I'm obviously a little biased. You may be as well. We're Northeast guys, but there's a lot of ball players in the New York City area. And if you're out there playing in the parks, playing in the gyms, playing for great high school programs, you get exposed to a lot of different styles with a touch of toughness and edge to everybody's game. New Yorkers, they love to compete.
Well, Brooks makes both free throws. 85-73 the score. Under 2 to play. Martin for 3, no good. Rebound by Xavier. Stainbrook with the putback, and he's fouled.
I have been so impressed with this young man. That left hand is going to make him a lot of money someday, I believe, in my humble opinion, because he's been getting double teamed all night. He's been getting treated very physically all night long. Look at him carving out a space on the weak side. One dribble, very efficient, takes the hit, and has the ability to use that other offhand. Not a lot of guys have that, and you see him now with the new headgear and a couple of gauze up his nostril.
A couple of cotton swabs. Yeah. He has 15 points, 8 rebounds to the free throw line for his 16th point. Try to pull this back to a 3-possession game, and he does not. Rogge with the rebound. Under 2 to play. And Chapman is fouled by D. Davis.
Xavier foul number 11, D. Davis.
What Xavier's trying to do is initially go for the steal. If they don't get it after the first 2 or 3 seconds, consider going back and maybe falling into a half-court defense, or if the coach is giving them the directive, foul, and let's lengthen this game out a little bit here.
85-75, 147 to play. Chapman 6 points. First trip to the free throw line, one of the best in the conference. As you saw, 84% makes the first one. Miles Davis checks back in for Xavier. Artino checks back in for Creighton.
Chapman been very effective today on the ball defense. He's really contained guys like D. Davis, Martin, and Kristen when he's been on them because of his foot speed and his tenacity. He just refuses to give up inches. Here he is matched up with Davis.
Davis from way downtown for 3, and it's good. For a guy that doesn't shoot all that often and only shoots when he's open, he shot a few times when he hasn't been open.
And we saw it lined up from our vantage point. That was pure, partner. Elbow in, shot up, and the evidence left out there for everyone to see.
86-78 to score. Well, this has obviously been a big part. Doug McDermott's been a big part of today's action, 35 points. How about coaching Doug McDermott? Well, it's his dad, of course, Greg McDermott, and we asked him about coaching his son.
Obviously, I'm very proud, both as a coach and as a father. But you know, the things that he's done off the floor and what he's stood for and how he's handles his successes, that's what I'm most proud of as a father. The coach in me obviously loves that he's able to put up points and rebound, and he's shooting a great percentage from both the field and the 3-point line and the free throw line. But you know, he's a good person to go along with being a great basketball player.
Boy, for any dad and for any coach to say that, that's what you hang your hat on right there.
Well, I mean, the amount of pride, I'm surprised it's not overflowing and gushing out of the coach, because think about what he said there. It's one thing to be a good basketball player, and
sure,
he certainly is that. But with the attention and the accolades and all the notoriety he's got, to remain a down-to-earth good person, even tougher to do and more impressive.
They break the press, going way over top. Whistle blows and the foul called on Amos, and that'll send Chapman to the free throw line.
I think Xavier will be satisfied with anybody but Doug McDermott at the free throw line. That doesn't mean that the rest of the Blue Jays aren't able. They are, but he's by far the best free throw shooter, and not only that, he's the coolest customer out there. So the situations you're going to put him in, he will not get rattled. He delivers.
Well, Chapman misses the first one, which is odd for him, but you're right. For a lot of reasons, you don't want McDermott on there. Chapman's now missed his last 2. 86-78 the score. See Rogge taking a seat behind Greg McDermott.
Rocky's got to go over there and ice his arm down, because he's been cocked and loaded all game long. And maybe talk to a psychologist, because he's got no conscience, partner.
Yeah, his depth is remarkable. Stainbrook called for the illegal screen up top.
And the question you ask yourself if you're Chris Mack is why? What's the sense of committing that foul out there when all we're trying to do is initiate our offense? We'll take a look at it again. Setting a little screen on the ball. Don't move there if you're Matt Stainbrook. Don't give the referees anything to call. He moves his right leg, and now he's got to sit next to Chris Mack.
So Stainbrook will check out as they put some guards in. Amos with the steal. Here's Kristen, lays it in.
Good no foul by Chapman, though. That could have been a lot worse. Could have been a three-point play. Good decision that time. Creighton, you got to get it in.
Well, Xavier back within reach. They're down by 7, and a foul called.
Foul on number 3, Brandon Randolph.
87-80 the score. Brandon Randolph of Xavier called for the foul.
Xavier trying to grab and hold a little bit and hope that the referees don't notice it, but referees alert on the job, not letting that stuff go.
So now you put Brooks to the line. Brooks 68% from the free throw line. And again, this is just a 7-point game.
Yeah, no, this game is far from over, partner. We've seen a lot stranger things happen with 1:07 left to go. Big shot right there.
Yeah, Brooks makes the first one. Stainbrook checks back in, yeah.
Will Artino and Avery Dingman in for the Bluejays.
Dingman hasn't scored like he did in his last game against DePaul, where he went 6 for 8 from the field with 16 points. But what he has done is he's defended, he's blocked out. His man, whoever he's covering, hasn't been able to hurt his Creighton Blue Jays team. And that's basically all you can ask for a guy who's playing a new role. I mean, we talked about it earlier with the SIDs and the coaching staff. Their 3 guys in the backcourt for Creighton have started 50 games together.
Incredible.
This is the first game in 50 where those 3 haven't been out there to start a game.
89-80 the score. Miles Davis, long 3, no good. Martin tried the putback, it's no good. And then Stainbrook keeps it alive. Here's Kristen for 3, no good. Off the back of the iron, run down by Chapman. Chapman nearly traveled, did he? Yes, he did.
Traveling.
Just got caught between 2 things he was thinking about doing, whether it was dribbling or get it to Artino, his teammate. Neither one of them worked out.
So it will be Xavier ball, down by 9. 3-possession game. They don't need a 3, though, but 47 seconds to play.
Threes that they've been taking lately have been long rebounds, so if you're Creighton, block out a little further away, and the rebound will come to you.
Dingman fouled from behind. I believe they'll give that foul to Miles Davis, not Stainbrook, who has 4, or I should say has 3.
Foul number 15, Miles Davis, his first.
Manigault exhorting his fans. Wants to get the love, and they oblige.
Well, the folks here in Omaha, they don't need a whole lot of prompting.
What a crowd, though, huh?
There was an acrobat team from Fargo performing at halftime. When they were done, they got a standing ovation.
Yes, they did.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, they were pretty darn good.
Dingman misses the first free throw. Time is winding down for the Musketeers, as it looks like they're heading toward their first loss in the Big East.
Look for a quick hitter right here for Xavier. Not a lot of passing. You want to get it and go.
Martin will let it go for 3. It's good. 89-83. So hold on. 32.8 to play.
6-point game with almost 33 seconds left to go. Stranger things.
Last timeout for the Musketeers. You follow the timeouts on the bottom of your screen. Creighton has all 4 left. Or has 4 left. A double bonus for both. And Creighton, if there's a tie-up, has the possession arrow.
Look for Xavier out of bounds here to put pressure on the basketball. First 3 seconds, maybe a steal. After that, I wouldn't be surprised if they start getting the foul mode. You want to stop the clock here with only a 6-point margin.
Justin Martin, by the way, career high 18 points.
He's a ball player, partner.
He's done a nice job. You know, Martin has 18 for Xavier. And Kristen has 27 for the Musketeers. They have 4 guys in double figures. D. Davis is 14. And Stainbrook, who has a double-double, 15 points and 11 rebounds. But Martin's on the doorstep of a double-double, too. He has 8 rebounds.
And he averages 9 points a game and 5 rebounds, but he's so much better than that. And his numbers as of late have gone up, and quite frankly, they're going to need him. Samaje's going to get so much attention on that one wing. If he can be aggressive and play off of him, he will reap the benefits.
Well, we mentioned during the outset that Villanova had won yesterday to improve to 4-0 in the conference, 15-1 overall. These 2 teams both have won 8 straight, both tied for second in the Big East. This conference is obviously far from over, but it would be nice to remain unbeaten if you're the winning team here today.
Well, it's your first year in the league, so you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward, send the right message out there, and both of these teams, not just by their record, but by the way they've played, being able to handle physicality, defending and rebound, they're a perfect fit for this new Big East.
Don't forget, coming up right after this ball game, women's basketball, St. Joseph's at VCU. McDermott's trying to inbound the ball, and now he has to use a timeout, and they have plenty.
Great denial there by Xavier, moving their feet, talking to each other, switching whenever there was a screen. But we mentioned a little bit earlier this early season matchup. You know, Creighton's got to go to Xavier a little bit later on in this season as well. So retribution perhaps in the cards, but nonetheless, you get that opportunity on your home court. Welcome to the Big East, folks.
Welcome to the Big East, and these two teams will continue their Big East schedule as this week moves on. Following this one, Xavier will play host to Georgetown at the Cintas Center. Meanwhile, Creighton, following this one, will take on Butler. That will be here in Omaha. That'll be coming up this week, coming up on Tuesday.
Place you've been to that I haven't been to, the Cintas Center. You said it's an amazing environment.
Tremendous
for
environment.
Basketball.
Yeah. You know, it's tough to beat this one because there are more seats in this one, and they sell it out.
But the atmosphere is still a tough place to play.
So here's Creighton's upcoming schedule at Providence next week. Then that matchup at Villanova. Again, they can run the baseline or pass to a teammate on the baseline. They're going to have to use another timeout. So back-to-back timeouts.
You had Doug McDermott for a long pass there. The idea is backcourt or front court. Got to get it in. Got to get it in right now. Give credit to Xavier, though.
We mentioned what Xavier has coming up. They host Georgetown. But beyond that, their trek through the Big East will continue at DePaul, at Providence, and then they'll host Seton Hall. That game against Georgetown, you'll get a chance to see that one on CBS Sports Network.
Yeah, they finish up that nice little stretch on the 3rd of February with a really strong Villanova team. Again, like a lot of other Big East teams, even though they're smaller than most, Villanova has impressed me with their rebounding. They're rebounding for their size. They rebound as a collective unit, and that's why they're sitting at the top of the rankings right now, not just in the Big East, but nationally as well. Hats off to the Wildcats.
So McDermott again will try to inbound for a third time.
There you go.
That's along the baseline, and that's going to be an offensive foul.
I'm not sure about that.
So the push-off called against Chapman will give Xavier the ball with 32 seconds to play.
I'm going to use an old-school term here. You've got to V-cut. You've got to take him one way and then force him to another way, and that'll get you open. Maybe a little acting.
I think there was a lot of acting.
The Golden Globes are tonight, aren't they, partners?
I think you're right about that.
Is it too late to enter that into for consideration?
Golden Globes, the SAG Awards, they're all around the corner. .32 seconds to play. Again, we're going to St. Joseph's, VCU, coming up right after this one. That one is already underway. VCU is leading Cindy Griffin's squad 24-12. 12 minutes left to play in the half.
That roar from the crowd, if you could hear it at home, is the folks checking out the replay and not agreeing with the official's decision that time. But what would you expect from the home fans?
Well, and it's a beautiful center court screen that the fans get a chance to see.
It really is gorgeous.
D. Davis will inbound along the baseline. It's just a two-possession ball game, 89-83. They get it into Miles Davis for three. Wow. It's good!
What do you know?
We're down to a three-point game.
And they're physical right now. You have to be, if you're Creighton, you know the contact's coming. You have to be strong with the basketball and make sure that you make the right passes.
Miles Davis may have been fouled on that three-pointer right there.
A 4-point play right there with the defense draped all over him. And here's a guy we haven't really talked about that much, hasn't really been heard from that much in the scoring column.
He's 10th in the Big East in three-point percentage.
So he's capable.
Yep. There's Miles Davis, the freshman from Plainfield, New Jersey, as Chapman goes to the line with 29 seconds to play.
Big free throw.
Makes the first, so now it's back to a two-possession game.
That's a big free throw, and he's got to make this one, but that first one was huge.
How about this? 176 points combined.
Ball players out there. It's tough to keep them down, right?
Greg McDermott's teams are 17-0 when they score 90 points or more. Chapman makes both free throws.
Creighton doesn't want to foul right now. Let them have this shot. You just want to contest it, but no fouls.
Kristen misses. Ball is loose. Chapman battles. Picked up by Managa, and he's fouled. 20 seconds to play.
And Chris Mack kind of just smacked his hand, I guess, in realization that that was their opportunity, and they were unable to convert. They had the foul. They may realize that this game is slipping away from them.
So Managa will go to the line. He's a 91% free throw shooter, but again, just 11 attempts.
And I wonder how many situations he shot in have been like this situation right now.
Good point.
National TV with a packed house, but he steps up and makes it anyway. See that Xavier bench, a little dejected look, but they have a lot to be proud of. They came into a hostile environment and put up 86 points on a very good team with an All-American ball player. And yes, it's their first loss in conference play, but I would imagine they're going to garner more wins than losses if they move up forward.
93-86 the score. No timeouts left for Xavier. This is all Kristen. Now Martin, middle of the floor, way downtown. It's good from the edge of the logo.
Justin Martin.
Managa gave it up in a bad spot. He's being swarmed, and now he's fouled.
Good decision there. Doesn't want to throw a risky pass. So what he does, he holds onto the basketball and stays strong with it and absorbs the foul.
What do you think, 26, 27 feet away?
This partner, my goodness.
Timeout, Bluejays.
And they can't blame the defender, Doug McDermott, because nobody in their right mind would shoot it from that far.
So Creighton uses a timeout with 8.3 to play. They're down to 1. 93-89. Managa will get some free throws.
That three-point line today, partner, has been merely a suggestion.
By the way, no foul called, we're told by the officials now. So Managa will not get free throws. The timeout was called before the foul.
There you go.
So Don Daly came running out with the whistle.
So Xavier timeout?
No, Creighton timeout.
Creighton timeout.
They have one left. Xavier's without any timeouts.
That's right, Xavier's out of timeouts. My mistake.
8.3 to play. Although the possession arrow hasn't changed at all, it is Creighton's ball if there is a tie-up. And a lot of times you do have tie-ups in these tightly contested games on inbounds.
That's a whole nother story, but I wish they would change that rule. Get back to jumping the ball. Because it really does give someone a fair advantage, or unfair advantage, I should say. When you play hard and you tie the ball up and you have to give it back to the other team.
Chapman is fouled from behind as he got that inbounds. So it's 7.5 to play. Austin Chapman, the junior out of the Colony, Texas.
Brandon Randolph.
Good job of making himself available for that outlet. Put his head down and try to dribble through traffic, but more importantly, didn't do anything out of character or risky. Solid basketball plays right now as you're trying to finish up and get this win.
Chapman 4 of 6 from the line today, 5 of 7.
Well, back in for the Jays.
So it's a 5-point game.
Back in for the Musketeers.
Make this free throw and you get back and you play defense without fouling. You move your feet, keep your hands to yourself, and let whatever Xavier wants to do as far as a quick shot, let that occur, let that happen.
So Chapman makes 2 of them. He's made some down this stretch here. Inbounds pass is knocked away by Managa into the waiting palms of the fumbling Abdelnaby.
Absolutely. Hey, that was how the guards used to pass me the ball in college. A turnover waiting to happen.
I thought you were going to get it, wrap your elbow, and head to the basket. So 95-89. Miles Davis against Dingman from the middle of the floor off the front of the rim, and that is going to do it.
Heck of a ball game.
What a great game today. Creighton 95, Xavier 89. That's our final score. For scores, highlights, features, and more, go to CBSSports.com. Let's now send it to Ed Cohen and Julianne Vianney. Richmond for St. Joseph's and VCU.